Good evening, everybody. Apologies, I'm just doing a quick bit of juggling just to make sure that I can actually see the chat window while this is running. Here we go. It doesn't look like anyone is in just at the moment. And I'm just going to turn the volume down so I don't get any feedback. Well, everybody, welcome. And another thing I will do right now is I will just kick the audio recording off because I do want to podcast this as well. All right. Okay, everyone, by PC Pod or Pad, you are listening to and quite possibly watching Paid to Play. I am Rob Farker. And actually, I am even stuffing up my own intro. That's what I am doing. So let me just try and kick that off again. And let's just see if anybody is actually online at the moment in the chat windows. Let's close that down. Do a little bit more juggling and hopefully not with my jaw hanging open. So yes, this is very much a spur of the moment thing. And so there might be a couple of canine intrusions here. Anyway, so by PC Pod or Pad, you are listening to and quite possibly watching Paid to Play, the antidote to the don't quit your day job blues. I'm Rob Farker, and I'm reading off my own introduction here, and I'm here to help you monetize your madness by sharing the stories of folks who are earning incomes from the things they love doing, no matter how silly, geeky, or odd. Now, this is very much an impromptu live stream / episode. I was looking at my download stats a little earlier on and realized that my application Blueberry could actually give me a list of episodes that were posted in 2016 by their download stats. And I suddenly thought, what the heck? Let's do a top 10 episode. So here we are, probably for a fairly short time. And no one is in the chat room quite yet. And things are looking a little bit fuzzy on the live feed, whether or not that's just a general quality issue, but things are looking pretty good at my end. So I will press on, and hopefully, folks, I am not putting you off with some dodgy video. Anyway, where was I? So, yes, the top 10 list for 2016. So these are going to be the most downloaded episodes for the current year. And before I get stuck in, I do want to give a couple of thank yous and shout outs. Firstly, to Marcus Herstick, my long-suffering web administrator, who has been great about making sure Paid to Play stays live throughout the year, especially after the incident toward the end of the year when I wound up having to restore the site from a January backup and re-upload all of the episodes that have gone up in the meantime, as well as the text of the blog entries for them. So that was a lot of fun, as I am sure you can imagine. I want also to thank all my guests for season 4 2016. Thank you very much for giving of your time and chatting with me, whether it was via Skype, as was the case with most of you, or in person, as I was able to line up with a lucky few of you. You guys, basically without you, there would not be a podcast. You are the reason that people come and listen, and it's your advice that I want to pass on to people so that they can work out how the hell they can take what they love doing and make a thing out of it. I also want to thank, of course, all of my Patreon backers. You guys have been fantastic throughout this year. I think, again, without you guys, it might have been that the podcast might have kept going, but at a quite a bit inferior audio quality after my Bearing a Podcast Studio USB kit decided to pack it in. Thanks to you guys, amongst other things this year, I was able to afford this wonderful new microphone. And I'm having an absolute blank on its make and model right at the moment. The Audio Technica ATR 2100 USB, which has been lovely for audio quality, and it's given me even better audio quality than that Behringer, I think. And I also want to give a major shout out, and just so you can see, this is what I'm working off here. We spare no expense here at the Paid to Play podcast. Chris and Ray of the SDWV Podcast Network, I have been glad to associate Paid to Play with your network, guys. You have some fantastic shows on. It has been, from what I gather, an interesting first few months with the network, but I'm looking forward to some fantastic things and some incredible creative synergies in the coming season, Season 5 2017. I do want to give also a couple of honorable mentions. Firstly, Birdie and Mike Diamond, for a bunch of reasons. For starters, they back the show on Patreon, and they are one of the few who came in at that $11 per episode level. Thank you very much, guys. It's been great having your financial support for the show. And again, you guys are the main reason why I've been able to pay off a few expenses and get my hands on some new hardware. I also want to thank you very much for retweeting your episode like nobody's business. Thank you very much for your support in that regard. It's been great seeing that RT pop up in my feeds, and I've been, of course, liking it and retweeting it, and seeing if we can get that episode a bit more traction, and hopefully bring some folks in for the rest of the season as well. And of course, for posting all about the voice work that I did for you guys. If everybody else, if you've not heard it, I actually got to do two lots at least of voice recording for Birdie and Mike last year as part of their Patreon backing. And you'll find them on their website if you go to patreon.com/WonderlandRBBT, which is all one word. You should be able to find Blackie's Tale and The Choice of Lincoln Green, two audio narrations that I did for them. And I hope to be doing quite a bit more for them as a freelancer in this year, 2017. And I also want to give a shout out to Feisty Cuffs, who was a guest of mine for this year's, last year's season. And silly me didn't think to write down the episode number that she was in. But if you go to paidtoplay.com.au and just do a search for Feisty, you will find her chat right there. Go have a listen. It's a great one. She's been doing some interesting things over the past couple of months. She has joined forces with an online streaming channel called 6T4 Bytes. That's exactly how it sounds. The number 6, the letter T, the number 4, and then Bytes. That's BITES. You will find them on the live streaming website Twitch, and I'm sure it will be easy to find their archives on YouTube as well. I hope to come out with I hope to come hang out with Feisty and Matt when they get together and play some Heroes of the Storm for 64 Bytes online sometime, because they have a great deal of fun. And hey, you know, when you've got people like that on your team, you are guaranteed a great time, win, lose, or draw. So yes, after that, let's get on to Paid to Play 2016, the not top 10, the 10 numbers 10 to 2 of the top 10 most downloaded episodes of 2016. So here we go. Oh, just shift that out of there. That's smearing. Okay, here we go. So at number 10, posted on September the 15th, 2016, and with a grand total of 69 views, was episode 95 with Barry Garfield. What can I say about Barry that millions of people around the world don't already know, except to say, I'm sorry, Barry, I am still yet to see Spartacus. Folks, if you don't know, Barry was one of the main cast members of the TV show on the Stars Network, and which went on pay TV channels around the world. You can get it on DVD and Blu-ray and on live streaming services. Spartacus, there were 3 series of it. Gods of the Arena, War of the Damned. Actually, no, sorry, Vengeance was the second one, and that was the first one that Barry appeared in, and War of the Damned. And he played the Germanic warrior Lugo. You will probably remember his epic muscles and his epic warhammer. More than that, again, I can't say, unfortunately, because I'm still yet to sample the show myself. But Barry, thank you very much for coming on, mate. You were my first big-time Hollywood guest, and so far you are still my first and only big-time Hollywood guest. I hope to chat with some more this year. Don't know how it's going to happen, but aside from the fine folks who you recommended, so fingers crossed, more awesome guests this year for everybody to listen to. Pardon me. Okay, number 9, with 71 downloads on August the 18th, 2016, was episode 91, Nolan T. Jones. Gaming had to come up somewhere in this top 10, and it started with tabletop role-playing games. Nolan T. Jones was one of the awesome triumvirate who set up the online virtual tabletop Roll20, which allows people who are separated by geography or perhaps by the sheer logistics of trying to get them all in the one place at the one time to still get together and play the incredible, imaginative, awesome hobby that I am all about, tabletop role-playing games. If you've heard of Dungeons and Dragons, that's a tabletop role-playing game. There is a Star Wars official tabletop role-playing game that you can get. They range in genres from fantasy to science fiction to horror. If you can think of it, someone has probably made an RPG in that genre somewhere. And Nolan and his team, I have tried Roll20 on a few occasions, and it's a great little app, and it can get you together with folks from all over the world to play games with. So, Nolan, thank you very much for creating that for us. And again, thank you for coming on the show. It was lovely chatting with you about how you solved a problem for gamers worldwide and turned that into your full-time job. Congratulations again. Number 7 on the top 10 with 72 downloads going live on April the 3rd, 2016 was episode 28 with Wayne Nichols. Wayne is a professional comic book artist. He has done work for the major imprints, including Marvel Comics, home of Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Avengers, the Incredible Hulk, which he has done work on, Iron Man, etc., etc. And I'm pretty sure he's done work for DC as well. He has done work for IDW, creating covers and comics for the X-Files series. And he also has an upcoming cover for a Highlander comic book series, which tells the story of Connor McLeod from the Highlander movie, the immortal who does battle for, I'm losing my words here, for the final prize, where at the end of the Great War between the immortals, there can be only one. If you've not seen that movie, go and see it, and get your hands on some work by Wayne in the meantime. He was a lovely gent to chat with, a pleasure to meet in 2015 at Tropicon. I was sorry I wasn't able to get to meet him again in 2016 when another local convention didn't work out, but I'm glad all you folks loved the chat with Wayne. Yes, if you've not heard it, please go check it out. Anyway, number 6 on the top 10 with 79 downloads going live on March the 13th was my chat with Twerkin Gherkin. Twerkin, if you happen to be listening to or watching this, lady, hopefully this is a sign that really, I know how anxiety feels, I know how crippling it can be, and I know how it can stop you from doing the things that you're good at. Yes, I would like to chat with you again sometime this year if you want to, and if we can put it together. But yeah, there you go. You are in the top 10 downloaded episodes for 2016. People love you, honey. And for those of you who might not know about Twerkin Gherkin yet, she is one of the most popular and high-grade cosplayers in Australia. She's a mainstay of the East Coast convention scene. She even has a job working for a good friend who I also chatted with for the Pay to Play podcast in 2015, Shana of Ever After Parties. So track that episode down as well. But please, yeah, if you are interested in cosplay and you're curious about how you might be able to monetize your own interest in cosplay, go listen to her episode. She and Feisty Cuffs are great mates, and you will certainly enjoy it. Episode 10987. So that was 7th place was Twerking Gherkin. Pardon me, I should have numbered these down the side. 6th place with 86 downloads, going live on July the 7th, was episode 85 with Bebo, also known as Brittany Bow. You might have seen her online with her channel GameWire, and she was great to chat with. Thank you very much again, Terry Latorco, for getting me together with Bebo. She's a fantastic live streamer, and her full-time day job, work from home job, is being a marketing officer for a board game distributor. So fantastic. Good on you, Bebo. And as I understand it, things are not exactly going great in the States for you right at the moment. So all my best wishes on that score. And despite any troubles that 27 might bring, I hope it brings even more fantastic stuff for you and Haley and everybody in your circle. You do great work, lady, and it was great chatting with you. Okay. So, 5th, 4th, yep, okay. 5th, number 5 in the top 10 episodes, most downloaded episodes for season 4, 2016, with 89 downloads going live on August the 4th. Pardon that pause there, but 89 downloads was episode 89 with Bernadette Bentley, another fantastic cosplayer, well known on the West Coast geek scene for her fabulous Xena cosplay, for acting, for singing, for hosting events. I think just recently she and Lauren Matesic from Castle Corsetry, whom I also chatted with in 2016. Thank you again, Bernadette, for getting me together with her. Yeah, an event that they hosted recently, a geek-related cosplay and fashion show. Good on you, ladies, and all your success. So again, thank you to, if I've got this right, the bubbly Broadway babe, Bernadette Bentley, for coming on and for getting me together with a whole bunch of awesome people. Which brings me to number 4, the 4th most downloaded episode for season 4 2016, with 103 downloads. On July the 28th was episode 88 with Monty Cook of Monty Cook Games. That was a fantastic chat. Monty is a veteran of the RPG industry, not just the RPG scene. He has been working for names like Iron Crown Enterprises, the people who put out Rollmaster and Middle-earth role-playing back in the day. He then went to work for TSR. I'm pretty sure he went to work for TSR just before it got bought out by Wizards of the Coast. And so he got to work on Dungeons and Dragons and was a main part of the team that put out the 3rd edition of D&D. He since went on to do his own thing with Malhavoc Press, and of course now has Monty Cook Games, which puts out the award-winning Numenera and Strange RPGs. And at the moment, after a successful Kickstarter campaign, they are working on their next product, Invisible Sun, which looks to be doing some amazing things with the whole broader idea of getting people together to play an RPG and challenging some of the core assumptions that are kind of built into most RPGs without even really thinking about it, just because that's the way that things are done. So it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Monty, it was lovely hearing all of your stories. And again, here's hoping you all, for all the best in 2017 with Invisible Sun and the ongoing support from Numenera and the Strange and the Cypher system and everything you're working on. I hope to be chatting with Shanna Germain, also of Monty Cook Games, sometime this year. We still need to work out timing and all those kinds of things. So listen out for that. Number 3, the third most downloaded episode in 2016, with 115 downloads going live on September the 2nd, was episode 96 with a gentleman named Stephen O'Donnell, but probably better known to Australian gamers as Barjo, one of the team that puts out a TV show broadcast by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation called Good Game, a show by gamers for gamers, and it was fantastic. There was a guy who I wasn't sure if I'd be even able to get. He'd been kind of on my wish list for a little while, and his energy is absolutely fabulous. So, I mean, if you can't get enough of Barjo already, with all of his multimedia appearances, and hey, who can, please go listen to episode 96. Which brings me to number 2. My number 2 man, his name, number 2. Well, no, that's not his name, actually. But with 125 downloads. On November the 4th, 2016, episode 105, Stephen Lumpkin. Again, on a gaming bent, a tabletop role-playing game bent specifically, although Stephen does work in the video game industry. He has a long and storied career. Just listen to the episode, folks. He has done quality assurance testing and level design and encounter design for a whole bunch of games that you've probably played, like I'm pretty sure Age of Conan was one of his, The Secret World. And he is a gamer for a good while. He was running, he was game mastering sessions for the online channel It Me JP for their roleplay show, which itself has gone from strength to strength last year. In 2016, he's recently parted ways with them and is now doing things on his own YouTube channel, including some more game mastering of tabletop RPGs. I'm pretty sure his current campaign is called King Arthur Pendragon. Don't ask me what system it is. I'm not sure whether it's Dungeons and Dragons. It could well not be. Yes, more bit of epicness from Stephen and more great gaming stuff coming from him. It was a blast chatting to him, especially being able to geek out a little bit about tabletop role-playing games. So that is 10 to 2. So that brings me to, here it is, folks, the number 1 most downloaded episode for the Pay to Play podcast, season 4, 2016. Again, sparing no expense here at Pay to Play Towers. You just, I actually sealed this envelope, unlike the other one. Forgot to do that, so not quite the tearing sound effect that I was hoping for, but here we go. The number 1 most downloaded episode for Paid to Play, Season 4, 2016, with 198 downloads is, drumroll please, no, that's not a good cymbal sound. You know, like I said, sparing no expense here at Paid to Play Towers. Episode 81 going live on May the 6th, 2016 with Adam Coble. Yet another epically bearded tabletop role-playing gent. This guy is fantastic. His full-time job is getting paid to talk about and game master role-playing games. He's got his own Twitch and YouTube channels, of course, on which he does stream him playing video games, but he has a show of his own called Office Hours, where he answers questions about tabletop role-playing games. He is the game master in residence for Roll20, which I mentioned earlier on. Remember the 9th most downloaded episode, the chat with Nolan T. Jones. So he is there main guy for not just, again, advice about tabletop role-playing games, but how to get games going on Roll20 and using the system, and also doing some live streaming of RPGs for them. But also he is pretty much the main game master on the aforementioned roleplay show on the ItMeJP channel. If you go and have a look at patreon.com/roleplay, that's ROLLPLAY, you will see the promotional video there where they ask for more backers support. And he and JP, the guy behind the channel, which is why it's called ItMeJP, talk about their plans for 2017. So it's those two guys are pretty much the backbone of the roleplay channel. And yeah, that is Adam's full-time thing. So Adam, once again, as I've said for a few other people, but especially in your case, thank you so much for coming on the Pay to Play podcast. I think if there's any indicator that I need to be talking tabletop role-playing games more, it's the fact that of my top three guests for 2016, 2 of them are game masters, and of the top 4, 3 of them are game masters and in the RPG industry. So thank you very much for being my flagship guest in that regard. And again, it was fantastic chatting with you. I hope against hope somehow that I might even be able to get into a role-play game, whether as a player or a game master, sometime this year. It would be absolutely awesome, especially considering the caliber of streamers that you guys have on your show. And I think I'm getting to the point where anything else I have to say will be just random babbling and rabbiting on. So thank you very much again. So that brings me to the end of this special episode, video episode, live streaming experiment for the top 10 most downloaded episodes for 2016. Thank you very much for watching. If you happen to be doing it now, it looks like there weren't any comments in the live stream. So hopefully I just had you enthralled with my camera performance. I am going to shut down because it's 7:30, so I've been rabbiting on for about half an hour, which I think is plenty, and dinner is about to be served. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but my lovely wife is out in the kitchen working hard on dinner. So it's time I went and paid her a bit more attention. But please, folks, it's been about a month and a couple of weeks since the last episode of 2016, which funnily enough was with another game master and cosplayer. You guys, looks like you love the cosplayers as well, with Twerkin and Bernadette being high in the list. Yeah, and I just suddenly lost my train of thought. Again, another sign that I need to shut this down and get off camera. I hope the video quality comes out a lot better than it's looking at the moment. Maybe that's an issue of just live streaming. But anyway, folks, I hope it's about, I was about to say it's another month and a couple of weeks until the first episode for Season 5 2017, which will be with Shelley Varela. It's already in the can, so I just have to edit it and put it up for my early access Patreon backers. If you are watching this and you're not already backing the show on Patreon, I will be reworking a little bit, and I'll be putting up the new goals and backer rewards in early February and shifting it to a monthly basis just to give you all a heads up. Weekly was a nice little fun experiment, but a lot of folks were putting monthly caps on, so that gave me a pretty fair sign as to where I needed to set things, and I think it does work out a little bit easier anyway. So please back the show this year. Please listen to the show this year. Tell all your friends about it. Anyone who you think needs a little bit of help with getting paid to play, making their thing. And here comes my lovely wife, who I think is probably going to tell me that dinner is about ready. No? So thank you very much, everybody who has supported the podcast so far, for all your support. I hope you can continue it in the current year. I'm still planning to do 40 weekly episodes from February to December. And I just lost my train of thought. I'm just watching my wife sort of come into the camera there a little bit. With a couple of weeks break in July. So that's going to be fun keeping up that pace, although it was easier than I thought it was going to be when I did it last year. So please tune in, subscribe, download, back the show, tell your friends about it, get in touch. I love to hear your feedback. If you become a backer, you will be able to ask my guests questions. I will let them know ahead of time who my guest is going to be before I schedule the chats with them. So yes, please, even if you back $1 a month, that will give you that level of access, and it will be great. But the main thing about Patreon this year is going to be helping you folks get paid to play. I'm taking the voice to work component completely out of it. I just want to concentrate on doing things like, pardon me, itchy nose, group chats online, brainstorming sessions, one-on-ones with me. If I can get guests in as well, that will be icing on the cake. I'm not promising because it really involves their schedules as well, but I would love to try and get my guests into a few live chats for my Patreon backers and put them up on YouTube later on. So those are some of my ambitions. You can see some more if you go to patreon.com/paid to play about my plans and some thoughts about the coming year. I think it is time for me to shut up and wrap this up. So this is Rob Farquhar, wishing you all the best in your projects and endeavors and your secret wishes for 2017. And I am asking you in this year, if you haven't been already, to be a little dangerous and stop hiding yourself.